Say Jib the Eradicator, Jib the Magnificent. I've earned a lot of those titles thanks to my campaign against the Winged Menace. Yes, I'm speaking of the Cliff Racer, of course. Wretched things. They used to crisscross the skies over Morrowind like vermin. Nasty flying creatures with a habit of sneaking up on the unwary. After I was freed from prison, I decided to turn my life around. Give something back to the people of Morrowind. It became quickly apparent that the best way I could help would be by wiping out the Cliff Racers. Indeed I was. I hunted down and killed every last one of them. Took years. The people of Morrowind were so grateful to have the roads safer again, they took to calling me St. Jib, and then the other names followed. That was a dark time in my life. I did a lot of things I ended up regretting. Maybe that's why I worked so hard to redeem myself once I was freed. I murdered others for money. And before you think I belong to some romantic or secretive guild, think again. I was simply an addict who needed money for skooma. The stuff wasn't cheap, and murder always seemed to be in demand. I finally bit off more than I could chew. I was paid to assassinate some high-ranking official from House Redorin. What I didn't know is someone had hired the Morag Tong to kill him as well. Exactly. He got to my target first and called the guard to cover his tracks. By the time I got there, the place was on alert. Walked right into a trap and didn't even realize it until I was captured. They tried me for murder, threw me on a prison ship, and sent me to the jail in Vivek City. Gave me a lot of time to think, that's for sure. Well, that's a ridiculous question. Everyone traveling through here has said that the Oblivion Gates have been opening all over Tamriel. Has it been? Oh my. Well, it started with the followers of Mehrunes Dagon having Emperor Uriel Septim VII assassinated. Without a Septim on the throne of the Empire, Dagon was able to leave Oblivion through the gates and attack. All I heard is that without a Septim sitting on the throne of the Empire, the dragon fires in a place called the Temple of the One were no longer lit. This meant that we were vulnerable to the forces of Oblivion. Well, I don't know. Everything seemed fine until that Remora attacked me. I only heard later about the gates from the other souls. I can only assume the gates have been closed by now. I had just moved from my ancestral home in Morrowind, the continent of Cyrodiil. I settled in the city of Kavach to write my memoirs and to find some peace and quiet. Indeed, one moment I was writing diligently, and the next, my door bursts open. It was a cadre of Remora. The city was under attack. I took it upon myself to join the cause and fight the Dremora, thinking this would simply be another feather in my cap. The reason I'm standing in front of you as only a whisper of my former self should tell you that. I never knew what became of Kavach. I wonder if they were triumphant without me. At this rate, my first volume will be complete. Don't give up.
Well, according to the history books, they were. Anyway, keep exploring. Yeah. I know this place is getting to him. Let's make sure we have everything before we leave. Well, everything that we can reasonably carry. Well, you can. I'm just in your head. Yeah! Shield bash! What? Was that your best? Pathetic! Oh, and Serana, you might want to think about using something other than my spike. Because, as you should know, undead, and that includes you, are resistant to frost! Same applies to frost-breathing dragons. Does she want to die? As in the kind that doesn't come back? Because you'll be let to have that circlet.
I'm gonna have to kill you again.
This will probably help ease the tension once we find the lurker. Also, she'll need to remove that cowl to make sure she's recognised right away. Honestly, if there's nothing to break their fall, then break their bones. It's like you have to do that yourself with your glass sword. Another soul. Oh yes, that. Oh, yeah. Good thing you ate that soul husk before you used that. And you've got another Reaper gem fragments. Not to mention more black soul gem. Rather a black soul gem.
Death is but a door, time is but a window. I'll be back. Is there no end
to this nightmare.
Look at the sky. What kind of place is this?
Is there no end to this nightmare?
No, there doesn't appear to be. And honestly, being sent here by Patoma the Wolf Queen, just for calling her fat. Well, not exactly calling her fat, but you get the idea. Sounds like she had quite the temper. Yeah, technically he's a Breton. Let's see, which goes up this time? Yeah, Magicka. And Dwarven Smithing. I want to make that trick bolt type. Took you long enough. You finally figured out how to make that Dwarven.
Who's there?
Yeah, well, first we need to tie up all the loose ends in Soul Cairn. Right. Anything we can use here? Yeah, I need to sell the husk before coming up here. Got that book. And we've got all the... well, I assume it's all the Reaper gem fragments. Let's put them with the one you've already placed. Well, we've got quite the arsenal of spells. Not to mention Sanguine Rose and a glass sword. Which is much more devastating than the locals have. Well, most of them anyway. There's those keepers. They have dragonbone weapons. Oh, and if you can carry it, be sure to go back for that dragonbone mace. I'm sure you'll find someone who can... well, any can wield one. Some just have a preference for it. You, on the other hand, prefer to wield swords. I've noticed that. You prefer agility over pure damage. Ah, there it is.